Well, I do have a little spiel that I like to say. I say Stephanie Comer checking in to say what in poppin' dad, boy, Betty under this wig, glossy bird, and I. Who am I? So Stephanie Comer, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I have the brand Glossy Bird Management that's been around for 20 years. I started right out of college. And the one thing we do know is that when you go to universities, they don't teach you how to start a business. They teach you how to run a business. So I started that business and I had all the bumps and bruises along the way. And along with that process, I worked in corporate America. But with the business, I started off in entertainment, music, and now I'm in entertainment globally. One of my top performers is comedian Kelly Kells or entertainer Kelly Kells. But I also am a movie producer. But with Glossy Bird Management at www.glossybird.com, I support businesses to scale up to a corporate brand. So whether you're trying to start a business, expand your business, or get into government contracting. So we help you get into that preparedness to ensure that your structures are well and your vision is aligned appropriately for that. And that's me in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So take me back to that journey that, really got you on, your journey as an entrepreneur. And, what does that look like, for you? How did you start off with this in this crazy industry, doing what you do?
The truth is, I got out of college, and for me, it started off for someone else, to be quite honest. Um, I was in a relationship, and he was a music artist. He was like, I need you to be my manager. And I was like, okay, sure. And I went ahead and we went to the library and picked out a whole bunch of books. He said, you need a name. And I was like, okay, well, I like hummingbirds. Well, let's pick out a name, but hummingbirds it's kind of cliche. So I looked at the bird and it's called glossy bird. It was glossy ibis. And I studied what glossy ibis is. It came from Eastern Asia, Eastern Africa to Eastern Asia and migrated. And it was a bird that was going out of style. And what it did was because it was going out of style, it reinvented itself. And it started going all around the world globally. And I said, that sounds like me. That sounds like my culture. I'm never going to go out of style. If I'm going to going into extinction, I'm not going into extinction. I'm going to reinvent myself and I'm going to go global. And that's where it came from. And so it started to turn into a drive of passion. And then as I furthered on, I continued to work and run my business. So I worked and ran it, got into movie producing through my pastor. And then I came into producing 5 feature-length films, worked on several music videos with some high name artists. I'm the administrative part of the business. So you having that opportunity of running negotiations and making sure the budget lines are right and camaraderie is on the set so that the project gets finished while I work a full-time job, right? So sometimes I'll be on set until about 5 in the morning, have to run home and take a shower and go to work. After that, I lost my job. I got into a bad accident and I soon understood what it felt like to not have a job and what retirement looked like. And so, yes, I make a good income because I worked since I was 16 to 35. Because as we know, Social Security gives you credits, right? And so when you earn credits, you get enough credits. Well, I made enough credits of a six-figure earning because I have a master's degree. So I have a decent income, right? But most people don't know what that feels like. So I had to retransition and rework Glossy Bird for my people, meaning us, the workers, to say, if you work, and I had $300,000 in my 401k and my pension. So I had my 401k, I had my pension, And that was total because I worked, but I was ill. And I had to use all those funds for myself and my mom because we were ill. And I said, I need to rework Bossy Bird Management through that journey to help not only help me, but help others understand the sustainability model in having your business as you work and your business as you grow. What is the sustainability long term? And that's my journey to the end.
No,
And that's
most
my
definitely,
journey.
most definitely, most definitely. So that brought me to one of our modules, which is of course financial literacy and budgeting. That really struck a chord with me. So, how did you approach budgeting for your business, and what strategies did you use to ensure your financial stability?
So I like to take a homeopathic experience per se. So nature versus nurture, right? I like to look at business as looking at it as your baby. And if you're going to take care of your child and your child is growing, you have to be very, very specific about what's going to happen with it, right? Is that true? And so I take that into a financial model as well because I can't spend frivolously. But with that financial model, it also has to be visual. So as being a believer, it's write the vision and make it plain. So everything starts with a business plan. You're
Yes,
like, oh, no one wants a business plan. But
yes.
but it starts with a business plan. You have to write the vision and make it plain. And now we're in AI days, right? So no one really has an excuse to not have a business plan.
I'm telling you, I'm telling
You,
you.
you really don't.
So,
So with my financial model, I continuously rework it, right? Meaning, if I'm an at-home business, and it started with my structure. If I'm an at-home business to keep my overhead low, I have to first understand what am I spending at home? Is my home rent or mortgage, and what portion of my home is for my business? Right? So understanding tax liabilities. Because if you know tax law, then you know everything for your financial model. Hence, when our current president was the past president, the first thing that he did when he got into president the first time is that he hired a lot of tax auditors. All of the legal people that he has on his team are tax attorneys because each time the laws are passed, they are based upon taxes, right? So if you understand taxes, then you understand financial models, then you understand business. Then you wouldn't spend your money frivolously. So if you're paying mortgage or rent, you take the square footage of your home and you put that aside and you put that on your tax form. If you're talking on your phone, you're going to say, if I'm spending 60% on my phone on my business, I'm going to write it off as a business expense. If I'm driving my car, I'm going to be careful to not tell my insurance company that I'm using it for business purposes and work purpose and personal services. Why? Because you don't want to pay more premium. It's being very specific about very specific things because there are benchmarks in insurance, there's benchmarks in pricing. And it goes back to the business plan and the financial model and making sure you have a sheet that you are writing down everything. If you know where your money is going, then you know where you are going. Then you know where to pull back from and where to put your money at, right?
most definitely,
And that's where I take it from. Is it's my baby. I have to take care of my baby.
definitely. This is something that we talk about a lot, and like I always say, I love when, we hear from different experts like yourself, and it just come in full circle because they can hear from us, and I think, each one of our modules, touch on these different things. And I kind of wanted to go into another module because I heard you talk about business plan, and this is something that I, really stress a lot, because, you just can't. really, and most of us, we start off without a proper business plan, and that's most of us. But I think it's definitely a whole nother ball game when you actually have a blueprint, and it shows certain people that you're serious in what you're doing. And it's so crazy. We just got done doing revamping a business plan for one of our newest members, and you can just see a whole new life. Once we reviewed that plan, you can just see a whole new life, and it sparks a whole new excitement because now you have the steps. And sometimes everybody, they you know what you want to do, but you don't absolutely know every single step. When you got all the steps in front of you, it just charge you up a little bit more. Far as your business plan, what really put you in a element where you really stood out? What really made you stand out the most within your business plan? What elements, what key features when it comes to your business and your brand? What really stood out the most?
Well, the biggest thing, and if I could transition the brand to Tap In VIP, so that's by Glossy Bird, and because that's the newest business plan that I did create. The thing that stood out with that, and just to give a little highlight to that, so Tap In VIP by Glossy Bird Management is a technology company by African Americans that is a global reach and is using near field communications, of which this technology is in phones and it's also used in your debit cards, but it's used for social sharing. So the biggest part that stands out within my current business plan as we introduce this particular brand to the market is the fact that it is social sharing with blank NFC. This is a $58 billion industry that does not have African American representation in it. And because we do have blank NFCs with fashion and technology, that is our biggest um, push. And that's the biggest highlight that people absolutely love. The second one is the software. The software is easier to use as we build it in the background. So in our business plan, when they see those two elements and the projections of how much it costs to actually create it and the revenue that it brings back, the investors are going absolutely crazy.
No, most definitely. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, what's some of the key features that really benefits the community? When it comes to your brand and within this new when you break down this new business plan that you guys just put together and that you guys been working on.
The key features within the business plan is more importantly the fact that the product doesn't cost as much to create as much as it is selling for, right? So when we as business owners are creating a service or a product, it is very, very, very important that we keep the cost as low as possible. So in my position, say for example, one of my products has a return on investment of 300%, right? So that's a great return on investment. So no matter what happens with the market, I'm always going to win.
Right, right, right,
So it's important to evaluate how much time. So in your financial model within your business plan, it's important to evaluate everything down to the T. How much is it costing you? What is your labor? What is the product cost, the packaging, and all those things? So if I throw out a number, not a real number, but if I throw out a number and say, okay, it costs me $2.50, but I'm going to sell this product for $50.
hmm
If I offer a service for $1,200 for 45 days, but I know that my expertise tells me it will only take me 15 days to complete the project. Those are the important elements to know your return on investment. You
most
never meet it exactly where it's at. You need space.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So, what's the most unconventional marketing strategy that has worked best for your brand, and how did you really come up with it? How what did you guys really do to kind of stand out with when it comes to advertising and reaching your target audience?
You know what? Honestly, it's going to be word of mouth and comedy. So it's not going to be that unique. Um, but word of mouth always has been the best part of marketing, because it's natural, is obviously holistic. But then when I use comedy, it goes back to my client Kelly Kells. So Kelly Kells has about 3 billion followers, and she does skits. So when we tested the market initially to put it out, we had a great response organically without putting paid marketing behind it, promotions.
Most definitely.
So that's the best way to test and to not pay for it and put organic behind it with an influencer or your own. And so that was amazing to me to know that when money is put behind it, it will be exponential.
Shout out to Kelly Kales, man. 'Cause
Kelly Kell.
I was actually just watching some of her skits, and you're definitely right. Influencer marketing is something that we've been doing also, a lot more with our clients and a lot more with our members. And it's just a new wave, man. People want to see more organic content. We really kind of past the times where we can really just advertise and advertise. We really want to tell a story in so many different ways, and kind of go from there. So speaking of a story, can you give me your most memorable, story when it comes to, either a client of yours or somebody that that was a partner. But what's your most memorable, moment when it comes to your clientele and some of the projects that you've worked on?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'll talk about most intimately Glossy Bird Management and my clients that just make me so happy. I have 23 clients, and of those clients, I have this one that's so special to me. We would say Kelly Kells. We know she's special to me. But I have Kiana Mensa of Back to the Basics Tutoring. She has a organization that teaches children, but it appears to be predominantly minority and special needs. And so, with that relationship, we've been able to help expand her business to different areas. But through our partnership, she's hyped me up in such ways as being her strategist, has told the world about me in ways where I've now picked up not only my first contract working with the Department of Workforce and Labor, but now I'm working on my second contract in Wisconsin, running 3 contracts with the Department of Administration through a chamber. And so in that relationship, we've really developed a sisterhood. Um, and through that process, she walked through my mother passing. It was I worked through a lot of trauma, and I thought I was going to give up. I thought I was going to give up, and she's like, "No, Steph, you are global. You are that girl." And so, if I can say anything, that story will be more about levels of trauma that most of us may experience through our business journey. It talks about that baby process again, right? The baby's growing up. Sometimes you want to give up, but then here comes your friends, here comes your family, here comes that person that comes to lift you up during some of the worst times of your life that you think that you're not going to finish it, and they push you. And so that was in 2023, and now we're in 2025. And things have grown exponentially for me, and I'm so grateful for her for that. So that would be my most impactful story in my most recent past.
Man, we all need the village, man. This is what it's all about. This is why we do this. This is why this is really what the mob is all about. Our whole community. Having that village. Having accountability partners, people that's gonna keep pushing you to, keep going because it's really not easy. Life alone
Um,
is not easy. So, when you building something, you growing the flower, and you growing a baby, you raising a baby. It's so many different obstacles that that life hits you with, and you need that village. People that's gonna really genuinely, build with you. And I think it's so important to kind of manage that and level that, and balance that. Balance your relationships. We even within business. I think that's what's so special about what we're doing here. We building relationships with people that's actually building something, and I think those are the best relationships. And we've built some great relationships with people that we didn't even, it ain't all about how long you've known somebody or the blood. It's all about
Agreed.
that energy, that you bring forth, and because every single day we going through the marathon. We all going through our own marathon. You need that person that's going to be in your corner to keep pushing you and passing you supplies and passing you resources to keep you going. Speaking of keeping you going, what's something that you do to really maintain your leadership mindset, and what's some things that you really practice, that really help you stay in a positive mindset, and keep going?
Over my time, so I'll tell my age. I know that's a unwritten rule, but I'm 44. And so over time, I've learned patience. And with that patience, I've learned meditation. And with meditation, I've um, learned to remove outside forces that are not good for me. So what do? I wake up around 4 in the morning. So I study what the wealthy does. They wake up about 4 in the morning. For me, I'd say, "Good morning, Jesus. What's your plan for us today?" Because I am a believer. And I sit in meditation and I wait for instructions. And with those instructions, I mean, as soon as my eyes wake up, that's what I do. I wait for those instructions and then I go into my own meditation just to listen for about 30 minutes. Then I get up and I do stretches so that my body can have enough breathing within my organs because breathing is important. If you don't do enough stretches, your body starts to clench in. So these are some of the things that you learn ergonomically for your body, twist the necks and things like that. And then I get to work. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't allow a lot of violent things enter. The things that I'm aware of I'm only aware of because of the circles that I'm around. They communicate it with me. But if anyone is negative and they're repetitively negative and they're not taking my cues, I have to remove them. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with making decisions. And that's important. Making decisions swiftly.
Most definitely, man. It's so crazy because once again, it's coming full circle. That meditation word, this is something that, we've been really bringing up almost every week now, talking about meditation, and that's something that I really been seeing a lot of powerful people like yourself, really indulge in. That's something that I've been, really practicing more of as well. Somebody that really didn't even believe in meditation at one point, but it's a common denominator when it comes to the mindset. And mindset is everything, man. So if you're still logged in with us, man, live, man, throw some fire signs in the chat, man, for the mindset, man, because mindset is everything. Mindset over everything. Um, Speaking of that, I don't want to hold you up too much longer. But what's some advice that you would give, somebody that's just getting into this world of entrepreneurship? that's just starting off, building, their brand, what's some great advice that that you would give them?
If I have one thing to say that I've learned throughout my time, is never, ever speak to anyone about your dream and vision that does not believe in you. Do not. Only speak to people that will encourage you, support you, and root you on. I promise you that is how you will continue to push and drive. Everything else will fall in place, but never speak to anyone that will discourage you. And that will be my most important recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Real quick, man, before we go, let them know where they can find you. Let them know where they can reach you at, real quick, Queen.
Yes, my all of my handles is at Glossybird, GLOSSYBYRD. If you would like a consultation, you can definitely go to my website at www.glossybyrd.com. And if you would like to email me, again, glossybird@glossybird.com. Soldier boy, you, glossybird@glossybird.com. BYRD. And it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Bob.